Alexis Moore with IDoYall.com, and welcome to our first ever makeup tutorial. We are super excited because this peachy look will help you glow for your big day. If you want to learn how to use all drugstore products for a very beautiful bridal look, then please keep on watching. First, we're going to use the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm as a primer. It works really good at keeping the makeup on all day, so whatever foundation you use over it will stick to your face like glue. You can press it in with a foundation brush like I'm using on Rachel, and you can also use a beauty sponge, your hands, whatever you prefer. There's no wrong way to do it. So once the primer is set in, we can move on to brows. I'm going to be using a brow pencil from NYX. It is called the Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. Now this brow pencil is super fine and it's great for any beginner who's learning how to do their brows because it's perfect for creating soft lines, and it doesn't have like such harsh pigmentation that it'll give you like cartoon brows. So I'm going in and creating soft hair-like strokes with the pencil and just spooling out anything that I've put down just to keep that natural effect. And it looks like she has bigger brows than she does. Even though I'm not putting a lot of product on there, it looks like she has a fuller brow. Alright, moving on to brow gel. I'm using the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper, and this is going to help set her brows in place all day through every wedding festivity. Crying, wiping her face, wind, anything like that that can mess up your brows. This will help them stay in place, and it also has some highlighting reflex in it to give off that healthy brow effect. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to prime her eyes with the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. It's anti-aging, hydrating, but it also keeps eyeshadow locked in place all day. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm just going to pat it gently all over her lid, coating every space that will place eyeshadow down on. So you can use your fingers, you can use an eyeshadow brush, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just coat the entire lid and make sure that everything is creaseless and covered, and wait a minute for it to set. Moving on to eyeshadow, we're going to be using the NYX Perfect Filter eyeshadow palette, and we're going to be using the lightest shade in the palette to set that primer that we just laid down. Setting the primer is really important for blending, especially if you're a beginner, because everything you'll put down after you set will blend out super easily and it gets the job done faster. Alrighty, so we're going to go in with our transition shade. This is the lightest matte in the palette, and we're just going to softly blend it on the outside of the eye. They call this the outer V, but you can just place it on the outer side of the eye. Just blend it lightly into the crease using soft windshield wiper motions, and don't bear down on the brush because you don't want any harsh lines. Next, we're going to use this rusty brown shade, and we're going to put it on the outer V. Just really lightly, but hold the brush really close to the end and just very softly blend in place. And then once you're done blending in the outer V, you can take whatever's left on the brush into the crease. Just very lightly. There we go. Next, we're using this shimmery champagne shade on the inner corner of the eye to help brighten up the look a little bit. And so you use a small shader brush and just place it lightly. Also with shimmer shades, your fingers can work really good too. And just pat in place, don't really drag. And just keep it on that inner corner area because we're going to be placing another shimmery shade down on the middle. Now I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Eyeshadow in Rose Gold, and I'm going to be pressing that on the center of the lid. I love these eyeshadows because they are super pigmented. You can use your fingers and they come in like a lot of shades, and this rose gold color just totally makes the look. It is so beautiful. And you can just use your fingers. You don't even have to use a brush at all to place this down because the shimmer is just so much better when you use your fingers. Moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using two types. I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow and Total Cover foundations. Mixed together, this made a dewy, full coverage foundation that is her perfect shade. And we're just starting from this side of the face and working over to the other side with the same foundation brush I used for the primer. You can use a sponge, brush, your fingers, whatever you're comfortable with, but just place the foundation all over your face, whatever foundation routine that you do, and yeah. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to be using the same one that I used for her eye primer. We're just going to place that underneath the eyes to brighten them, and you can take this step and you can also conceal any imperfections that you might have. And we're just going to use our fingers for this because it's super simple, it's not hard at all, and you just blend out softly with your finger. And get right up underneath the eye to conceal any dark circles because nobody wants to look tired and we all have them. And we're just going to blend that out, and it looks super pretty. I love using this concealer. Moving on to eyeliner, I'm just going to use the Maybelline Define Line in Soft Black, and we're just going to stay relatively close to the lash line and smudge out anything we put down. So just keep your liner really close to the lash line for the most natural looking. And you don't have to do anything harsh or anything intricate unless you want to, but we just decided that this looked best with the shimmery colors. Next, we're going to be using the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palette. And I'm just going to be using a fluffy powder brush to sweep this in under her cheekbones for a light contour. And just use a really light hand if you're new to contouring. And if you need to, just suck in your cheekbones, and wherever the cheeks suck in is where you want to place your contour. Just use a really light hand and dust it across there, and you should be good. And next we're going in with blush. I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush, and using a powder brush of your choice, we can just sweep that on to cheeks. I'm just going to stay really light on her cheeks, not scrubbing anything in and staying in one place. We don't want to take it too far back, and we're just going to take it to the other side as well, staying really light on the cheeks, just for that hint of blush. Nothing too overpowering, anything like that. Now we're going to go in with highlight. I'm going to be using the same NYX Perfect Filter palette, and the shimmery shade that we placed on her eyelid earlier is the shade we're going to be using for her highlight color. And I'm going to be using a light hand just on the top of her cheekbones just to tame that blush just a little bit for a dewy finish on the skin. Highlighting is very trendy right now, and I have to say it's my favorite part of makeup. It makes the whole look just come together. Now we're going in with our lip color. This is the Wet n Wild liquid lipstick in Nudist Peach. I really like this lip formula, especially for a drugstore lipstick, because it is super long wearing and the pigmentation is really nice. I like this color for the look because it is a nude color, but it still has a little bit of color, and it just brings this peachy radiance to the whole face. And that is it, beauties. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was super easy and super fun to do, and I hope you guys are looking forward to more tutorials from idooyall.com. Thank you so much for watching.